how to make my famous chicken lasagna. I'm sure everybody likes Italian food, or if you don't, you're going to love it after this. I believe that doing this recipe, it's not only easy and cheap, but it's also really good to bring your family together, because you can all make it together. Today I made it with my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, so you know this is going to be easy to do. The reason I think it's important to do with your family is it brings a sense of connectiveness to the family. You've got one person that's in charge of the cheeses, one in charge of the noodles, one in charge of the meat, and the sauce. And it's kind of fun, especially if you do it with little kids, because they think this is a super big deal, because they're in charge of something, and they're usually not in charge of anything. So this is great for them. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to get a nice big pan, or a small one, depending on the size of what you're making it for. Today we made ours with a medium-sized pan. And you'll do a layer of noodles. Now I don't cook the noodles first. What I do is I go and buy the oven-ready noodles at Walmart. It saves a little time when you've got little kids. The less time you have to cook, a little bit better. So I get the oven-ready noodles, and I'll put one layer down first. Then I'll get the ricotta cheese, which I usually get, I believe it's a pint, I think is the smallest size. I get the smallest size because my kids aren't too fond of it. And you'll do about 6 scoops and spread it on the noodles first. Then you'll get your chicken that I usually get already cooked, and so all you have to do is thaw it. It's a little easier with them. And I chop it up, and then I'll spread it on top, probably about 2 handfuls on top. And then you put on the sauce. Then you put on a second layer of noodles, and I usually do about 3 layers of noodles. And then you'll do the same thing again, the cheese, then the meat, then the sauce. And then on your top layer, what I like to do is I put a little bit extra ricotta cheese on top, usually finishing off a little tub. And then I sprinkle a little bit of extra chicken on top, because instead of using the beef, which usually has a really hearty flavor, I like to use the chicken, and it just gives it, I feel, a little bit more texture to it, which is something my children like, is the texture. It's one of the reasons I started making chicken lasagna instead of a regular lasagna. Then you'll put the extra cheese on top, which is the shredded cheese. You can use mozzarella, Colby Jack, whatever you prefer. We usually use mozzarella or a combination of the 3. Or I think it's called a 3-cheese combination. And so we'll sprinkle it on top about 2.5 handfuls, or if you like a little bit more, you can do a little bit more. Then we put it in the oven. Your oven needs to be at about 400, 450 degrees in between, depending on how long you want to cook it. I cook it at 425 for an hour and a half. And then after an hour and a half, you let it cool for about 10 minutes, and then it's hot and ready to serve. And the kids enjoy this because they get to put the chicken and the cheese, and I've just started letting my 4-year-old use sauce. So that's been interesting. But then it's a nice, easy, quick way to do it, and I feel it's cheaper than going to a restaurant. And it's a little bit more friendly. When you go to a restaurant, you're having to give your order to the person. You don't exactly know how they're cooking it, what exactly they're putting in it. This way you know what ingredients are in it. You know how long it took, what it's taken to make it, and it's just, it brings your family more together, I think, cooking together. That's one of the things we like to do. So if anybody would like, I have actually brought the lasagna with me today. If anyone would like to try some.
I want to see it.
You want to see it? I
I
know.
know.
Now it's really, really hot because it just came out of the oven before we got here. So I'm hoping it's not too hot that I can do that. Now it's a little bit brown because we left it in the oven a little longer than we should have. But it's really yummy still. That's the end of it.
Oh.